Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Positive Club. Today I have with me brother Ismael Perez. It's always a pleasure, Ismael, to have you on because you have such a beautiful way of talking about the things that are happening today. So do you have any updates for us? It's been, I think, 2 months or something like that.
Well, yeah, there's been several, events that have been unfolding in favor of humanity. The first thing I want to say is that, what's unfolding on the geopolitical level with the Ukraine-Russia conflict is really the last battle between the cabal, with the White Hats coming in as a winner. So what we're witnessing here is, in terms of a biblical metaphor, we could say that Putin represents the king of the East, and we represent the king of the West. And as you know, the king of the West has been heavily corrupted by the cabal, with the World Economic Forum, the globalization programs, and then of course the infiltration of America through the deep state. And so what we're seeing here is a final overthrow of the cabal by the king of the East, who is actually leading the way for the White Hats.
Everybody's getting canceled. There's a guy, his name is Andrew Tate, okay? I don't agree with a lot of his stuff, but he said some stuff they didn't like. They canceled everything, right? And then Kanye West, he says white lives matter. They destroy. It's crazy. These guys they're getting really vicious on canceling people or anything they don't like, and it's insane. How long is this gonna go on, this cancellation?
Yeah, but even BLM, was a distortion that was that was orchestrated by the cabal. In the end, only a few profited. So it was like the biggest coup next to, of course, C-19 two years ago, and people bought into that.
And the people, they still get fooled by all of these things, right? I have a question, okay? Like, I might be, well, maybe I'm too generous. I think 50% of the population, they're not really awake, because since childhood, I've been looking at all the crazy things that happen. It's always the same population that go with everything. And then the rest of us, we are forced, to kind of, be assimilated to this stuff, right? So how many humans are here? Or these 50%, 60%, 70% of the population that is not aware, what are they? Like, I always wonder about that.
Okay, so I would say that the only real organic humans that actually have a soul, and by having a soul meaning that they're fractals of God, here in physical embodiment in the lowest dimension, I would say it's about maybe 60% of the world population. The other 40% could be divided in non-player characters, basically soulless, clones or soulless beings that were generated by the Matrix, by the AI and the Draco that control the cabal, in order to create opposition and hardship for those that do have souls. It's a combination of that, and then of course there's about 10% of the population that are actually extraterrestrials living among us. Some good, most of them are good, I'm sorry. The bad ones have been dealt with, but most of them are good. We have a lot of Pleiadians walking among us, we have a lot of Venetians from planet Venus walking among us, and then of course beings from Jupiter and beings from Sirius that have materialized a human body in order to come into our reality, and interact and pretty much just observe the what's unfolding in our world.
So Ishmael, when is these things are going to start ending? Is there going to be a separation between the I guess more intelligent population than these people? Are we going to have a separation? Because I think we need to build communities and unite and be with the right people, because these people, they're just slowing us down with everything, right? So
exactly. So this is all going to end when the solar flash takes place. The solar flash is going to pretty much be like the splitting of timelines, and the timelines necessarily mean that there's going to be the Earth is going to divide in half. It's actually going to be two distinctional vibrational frequency realities that are going to separate. So the people that have souls are going to be going into the positive ascending timeline, where they're going to be shifting into the fourth, fifth, or sixth dimensional level of reality, depending on where they vibrate. Okay? For the most part, the Earth Terrans, the younger souls, are going into the fourth dimension, and of course, the star seeds, the volunteers that are down here, are going to go to the fifth and up. And those that don't make the shift into the positive timeline are unfortunately going to be hooked to the Borg, which is already in place as the shift takes place, and they're going to be going into an AI timeline where for 1,000 years the AI rules as the Antichrist. And that has a lot to do with the return of Enki, by the way. Enki, as I've been, warning people about, is the negative Anunnaki. He is the abomination of desolation. He's the reason why our world has been inverted, and he's the reason why Saturn and the moon were devised by the dark forces to keep us in a reincarnational cycle for thousands of years in order to create a loosh farm so that the Draco could feed off of us. And he has recently returned about 2.5 years ago, right around the time that they rolled out C-19. Okay, and according to people that are getting his messages, I'm not going to mention any names now, but I'm sure people know who they are. The author of the book, The Cedars and the Return of the Gods. I'm not going to mention her name, but she even went on and said that she had a beautiful conversation with Enki, and that he's here to restore the original Adamic DNA blueprint that's going to upgrade us, but through this technology. And I believe that the technology that he brought was the medicine program that they've been administrating.
Yeah.
And been giving people fourth, fifth, it's like they keep upgrading the software, right? That's why they have the fourth shot, the fifth shot, and it just keeps going.
It never ends.
It never ends, yeah. So Enki is the one behind that. So I want people to know that, our ascension into, the next stage of human evolution it's a process that is organic, that is naturally unfolding by the CMEs that are coming in, by the gamma rays that are activating us at a cellular level. We don't need any technology. We don't need any help from extraterrestrials to help us evolve. We already have the original genetic holy grail blueprint code within our genetics, which is the God source gene. And that's what every alien out there wants, but none of them have it. We do. And so Enki's just here to thwart that, So I just want to warn people, don't buy into the cult that is being developed by, his spokesperson and her allies. They're going to be doing a conference, I guess next month, or is it I don't know, but in Florida. But don't buy into that stuff. A lot of people are being sucked into this whole Enki's the good guy and he's here to bring technology that's going to upgrade us. You don't need any technology to upgrade you. It's happening naturally. It is happening naturally through the upgrades that are coming in from the solar flash and the CMEs.
Have I'm pretty sure Gregg Braden. Gregg Braden. He talks about the God code. He he was a hardcore scientist, and then he went and I guess studied the DNA and used some ancient language, and he opened it up and he says, I got physical flash, something like that, right? And it's all about the DNA. And it's so funny that these guys are manipulating the DNA, and these people, they're all up for it. And are the people that are up for these kind of things, are they the 40% non-humans, or are they also some of the people that are getting tricked?
Well, I would say that they are the human representatives that have been working for the, let's just call it the AI Draco complex, the syndicate that that has been trying to infiltrate the organic way of life. Their time is up, and then that's why the Great Solar Flash is imminent. The Great Solar Flash is really what marks the returning of the Christ. The Christ is the activation of the Christ mind within us. And so that's going to be triggered by the Great Solar Flash. And I love the work of Gregg Braden. He is so dead on.
It's amazing.
Yeah, when it comes to modern day cutting edge scientists, I would say him, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Bruce Lipton are the leading pioneers that are bridging the gap between spirituality and science. And to me, all the work that they're doing is priceless, and it's so accurate. And what he did is he discovered that in the DNA there was some sort of he discovered that God is within the DNA, pretty much. That's what his research confirmed, is that God is within our DNA, and every extraterrestrial race out there knows that, And so that's why when it comes to upgrading us, we don't need any technology. We don't need anything inserted in our bodies. We're doing it naturally.
So, Ismael, what should we be expecting when these solar flashes are coming? We talk about these things, right? People like you and I, we've been researching this all of our lives because we know this thing doesn't make sense, right? But people, they see this, they're like, oh, these guys are crazy. What they're talking about? But there's so much evidence now that a lot of this stuff is real, but it's just hidden, right? So now they're talking that in the sun, there's this huge sunspot that is forming and is actually kind of knocking out some of the radio frequencies and things like that. Do you know anything about that? I heard a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Pretty much as the CMEs get stronger, and which is kind of related to the solar spot cycle, you know, it is in certain parts of the globe, it is knocking out communication systems. It's you know, taking out the grid. But do expect that, you know, when the solar flash takes place, it's going to completely take down the entire global grid, and that's what, you know, is known as the 3 days of darkness.
So when this happened, like, I guess we have no access to anything. Will we be changed already by this? So we won't need any technology and things like that, or are we going to be like, you know, peasants in the 17th centuries, you know, with no water, no nothing?
No, because also the solar flash corresponds with the activation of our dormant DNA. So for the Earth Terrans, yeah, it's going to be 3 days of darkness to them. But for the star seeds, you know, they're going to be upgraded into their new form, which is going to give them access to telepathy, telekinesis, you know, other superpowers. And so if anything, it's a good thing for the star seeds, you know. But they're going to know what to do. You know, that's going to be their first heroic, I guess, heroic act, you know, is when the solar flash takes place, they become activated, and then they're going to appear as superheroes to the rest of the world population.
I hope it happens. It's just like, it's been a crazy journey, this life, you know. The more, I guess, well, the more you know, the more you see, right, the more isolated you become. And you cannot communicate with a lot of people. So it's, in a sense, this you know, for those of us, you know, who study this stuff a little bit, you know, it's been a very, very lonely journey. Especially the last 2 years even was worse, right? So hopefully there is like some kind of a light at the end of this tunnel, right? So.
Oh, there is definitely, my brother.
What is your message to those people, like, you know, that suffered all their life, you know, trying to just gain knowledge, you know, understand who they are in this world? What is your message to them, you know?
My message to them is to keep fighting, despite of the opposition. You know, never give up. Every time you feel like you have something that knocks you over, or something that knocks you down, keep getting back up, keep going forward, because in the end, the price that comes with the liberation of the earth is going to be well worth it. So just keep fighting, you know, keep fighting for the truth, keep spreading your knowledge, keep researching, keep planting seeds, you know, keep spreading information to as many people as possible. I think everyone right now should be using their platforms to spread this information, because the more people are engaged, the faster we're going to have an awakening on a mass scale. You know, we're going to hit critical mass, and that's an event that we're all expecting, and we're almost there. So I would suggest for everyone to just keep the good fight, keep going with this, you know, with this message of hope and the truth, you know, exposing what's really going on.
Ismael, do you notice right now, specifically in these last couple of months, right? Do you notice this freaking pressure, this heavy pressure that is coming down, and it's creating a huge like separation? It's like there's two type of people that are moving at the same time, and they're opposites. And you can see it keeps getting, like, from my point of view, when I'm looking, it keeps getting more pressurized, right? I don't know how to explain it to you. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. What's happening is that because there is a shift that's taking place between timelines, like I mentioned earlier, those that are resonating with the new incoming frequencies of love, brotherhood, sisterhood, compassion, unconditional love, are actually it's almost like they're separating from those that are not. Those that are not getting it. Those that are not adapting to the new frequencies, because the new grid system is already in place. You know, the fifth dimensional Earth reality is already here. It's just a matter of matching its frequency. So those that are already beginning to match the frequency are the first ones that are stepping into this fifth dimensional reality, where none of this crazy stuff exists anymore, you know? And so, you know, they're almost living in two separate realities at this point. So it's going into the shift, you know, it's eventually going to separate completely. But right now, despite that we are coexisting, you know, there are two types of people on the earth: those that are ascending and those that are not ascending. And that's why it seems like they are being separated from each other. Like the ones that are not ascending are actually, the meaning of the rapture is they're, those that are ascending are eventually going to disappear, and then those that are not ascending are going to be like, hey, what happened to those that were, that were here? So it's going to be like the rapture when the splitting of the timelines takes place.
So how does that look like, basically? So let's say the planet, right? There's two types of people. When you say disappear, would these people just like go to another planet, or
No, they're
maybe
going to stay
something
here.
happened to them?
No, they're going to stay here. It's
Okay,
just
but
they're going into a negative timeline.
can
Based
we see each other?
on yes.
So basically, I don't get it. It's not easy for me to get this one. But so when you say that, so okay, let's say me, I'm one of the negative guys, and then James or whatever, he's the positive ones, right? I'm gonna be in a state of depression and suffering and pain. While I look at him, he's gonna be happy and relaxed, and his whole system is the same thing. But we live side by side with each other. But he's not experiencing all the crazy thing. But how does that happen? Like, because if he sees it, if I see it, don't I want to go and join this guy's stuff, or how does it work? I'm just a little bit confused about that.
It works exactly the way you describe it. James is going to be happier. Things are going to be going well for him. He's going to be very, doing very well. And then, for the person that is not resonating, not adapting to the new frequencies, it seems like life is just going to get harder, and they're just going to fall into a deeper depression. And, that's just the way it is, because they're choosing to not vibrate with the new frequencies. Everything's by choice, my friend. Everything's by choice. People are going to have the opportunity to ascend through their willpower. And those that don't is because they're not adapting to the new frequencies. And that's why it's important that we spread the message, because the more people we save, the better. My goal is no soul left behind. But of course, we don't know if that's going to be the case. So as long as everyone uses their platforms to plant the seed, to spread the truth, to bring the message to as many people as possible, then we're all doing our job. Because ultimately, in the end, we're all brothers and sisters. And I would hate to see somebody that I love, whether they're a relative, whether they're a good friend of mine, not make the positive timeline. You know what I mean?
It's people, like, as you mentioned, people have chosen. Like, some people, they have decided, I'm sorry to say, to be morons all their lives, to not look around. You're a human being. You have everything inside of you. You have a brain, you have a heart, you can see everything if you want to. But some people, they don't want to see it. And when they see somebody, who's actually kind of, doing these things, they attack them, right? And if you look at in the history, like the mystics, they always have been like, destroyed, right? In every culture, right? And it's the same thing right now. People that are waking up, they're getting attacked. Oh, this, and it's just crazy. And then if you talk about it, they come after you on the platforms. Except Rumble, BitChute. I think BitChute got hacked a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. So they're really silencing everybody on every platforms right now.
They're trying to. They're trying to. I also noticed that on YouTube, like, they're always, before, like, all my videos and interviews would pop up, and now it's like, you have to scroll to find my latest updates. So we're all being suppressed because we're truth warriors. And really, it's all being done by the AI. The AI is the one that reads the algorithms and all that stuff.
Alex Collier, I watch his videos once sometimes, right? Now you have to pay for it, because the poor guy just sacrificed so much. He lost everything and things like that. When you Google his name, it doesn't come. You have to put the actual website name to find him. It doesn't even show up. Alex doesn't show up anywhere anymore, right? But every week he puts a video out. He's active, It's just so blocked, that guy. It's crazy how they're doing it right now,
Yeah, it's happening to a lot of us.
So there's a lot of people that are saying that, when the solar flash is gonna happen. I think we talked about it last time too. They're like, oh, we're gonna die. This is gonna happen. All that stuff. What do you say to that?
We're not going to die. If those that make the positive ascension are going to have a translation from one level of reality to the next. In other words, their bodies are going to be upgraded. So there's going to be no such thing as death. The world never ends. It's the age that ends in order to begin a new age. And so right now we're actually in the cusp of transitioning from the old age, or the old world age, right, of the Kali Yoga, which is darkness on earth, to the Tetra Yoga, which is the golden age. And that's what we're all undergoing at this time. But it's going to be your choice. If you want to go into the golden age, you have to adapt to the new frequencies. You have to be embedded in brotherly love, unity consciousness, forgiveness, acceptance, and just always being the better person,
Yeah. When you say forgiveness, there are some people, they've done terrible things. I don't know. I'm not at that level that I can forgive these people. It's very hard. They've done terrible things. Look what they've done to our species. So what do you say to that? When these people that are done horrendous things, how do you forgive those people, right?
It doesn't matter how horrendous the crime was against you, what pain they inflicted on you. If you don't learn how to forgive, that's as actually holding you back from your own ascension. Through the negative emotion of resentment and revenge, or whatever it is that you feel, anger, you're weighing your own self down. So in order for you to become sovereign and liberate yourself, you have to forgive every single person that has ever wronged you, because if you don't, you're also giving them your power. So the best way to liberate yourself from everyone that has ever done you wrong is by cutting cords, cutting ties through forgiveness. Forgiveness, just forgive and cut the cords and live your life, because when you don't, you give them your power, and that dense emotion is actually gonna, it's gonna get in the way of your ascension, in other words, because the whole purpose of ascension is to become less dense. And how do we become less dense? Through our emotions, through our frequencies, right? The emotions generate the frequency of your state of being. So when you are in a heightened state of emotion through, feeling good, feeling compassionate, feeling gratitude, love, then you're going to make your ascension much easier. So that's what I say to those people.
Can you walk me through, let's say, one of these things? Because every day there is something horrendous that happened to a lot of us. Every day, it doesn't end. You forgive, there's something new. So it's like an ongoing cycle. How can you keep up with this craziness? So just run me through the process that you do.
Well, first you have to feel. First you have to, whatever's weighing you down, you have to first sit down and you have to feel it. Feel it and then release it. After you feel it, you release it. It's okay to feel. It's okay. If you want to cry, cry. Just feel the hurt, feel the pain, whatever resentment you might have towards somebody else. But then you have to learn how to let go. And that is when we begin to alchemize, right? Because we use the power of our emotions and our mind to transmute all negative energy. And it is as simple as that. You feel it, and then once you feel it, you release it by transmuting it. And then you forgive that person. You forgive that person, for that person did not know what that person was doing. Take the philosophy, adopt the philosophy of Jesus. Jesus was a perfect example of this. They persecuted him, they spat on him, they beat him, and he still said, "Lord, forgive them, for they do not know what they do." And that's the approach that we all have to take in order to become our better version. And that's how we access and regain our power. As hard as it may be, my brother, as hard as it may be, trust me, it is part of the healing process, It is part of the healing process.
What about self-defense? Let's say somebody wants to attack you. I believe if somebody is attacking you, you have every right to, do whatever you have to do in your power to protect yourself. So what about something like that?
Well, in a scenario like that, even according to the law of one, you have to defend yourself. And I would, if somebody is trying to attack you or hurt you physically, just defend yourself. Defend yourself, and it's okay to defend yourself because you're protecting yourself, And only in a situation like that, only in a situation that somebody's coming after you to hurt you physically, then at that point, according to the law of one, you have the right to defend yourself.
Ishmael, there is still, election going on in Canada, for cities and things like that. And, I'm not into, politics and stuff like that, but I look around and, the same morons that have been in some of these places for 20 years, they're getting re-elected. I don't know how. When is this system is going to disappear? When we're going to have an honest, true system? Do you even, once we move?
Putin is leading the way for that. As soon as Putin disables and dismantles the globalists, the UN, NATO,
Yeah.
the World Economic Forum, because that's what Putin is doing. See, he has a difficult job ahead of him. Even though he's being looked at as the villain to the majority of the humans on
Yeah.
this earth, he's actually the hero. He's leading the way. And as soon as he's done by cleaning house, beginning with Europe, Australia and Canada is next. So I would say, give it another few months. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I hope so, because, like, we really want some change, man, like, we've been in this journey for a long freaking time. And I was hoping that people wake up in the last 2 years, I see some major opening and people eyes wake up. No, it's just still people are not awake the way they're supposed to be. And then again, they're pressing down, on the rest of us, right? So it's just crazy. How much evidence do you need to open up your eyes?
I agree, brother. I agree.
But also,
these things happen because on a collective level, they are catalysts. They're catalysts for the awakening, So
yeah,
sometimes bad things happen in order to wake people up. It shakes people into really seeing things for what they are. I mean, think about it. If it wasn't for what happened 2.5 years ago, when they rolled out C-19, we would have as many people as awakened as we do now 2.5 years later, So that itself was a catalyst. So everything happens for a reason, brother. Everything happens for a reason.
No, it's good to know. It's been crazy, man. Like, every day there's something new. Every day there's something new to grab. The pipeline, the Nord Stream, like, seriously, it's like it never ends, right? So
Actually, yeah, it's going to end, but we're experiencing the finality of that long war, that long battle between good and evil, that actually started in the galaxy. It started with Lyra and Orion. Everything that's happening right now is just a last replay, right, through a cyclic process of a war that began billions of years ago in our galaxy between the Lyrans and the Orion Draco Empire.
So for these new energies that are coming, I think we talked about already, what should people do to keep themselves centered, positive? Because as mentioned, there's every day something new coming. So what do people should do to keep a positive mindset, to keep themselves strong and open at the same time to these new energies that are coming?
Every morning and every evening before you go to sleep, wake up and ground yourself and protect yourself. Visualize a blue sphere of white, blue sphere of protection or white light. Also, make sure that you give at least 20 minutes a day to the higher power, creator source, whatever your higher power may be, your higher self, but give at least 20 minutes a day and connect. Also, spend a lot of time in nature. At least once a week, try to go to the beach, the ocean, a river, a lake, the mountains. I don't care where it is, as long as it's all natural and Mother Earth surrounding, and spend time with it, because that is also how we regenerate and how we access our powers by spending time with nature. And also make sure you eat healthy food. Make sure that you begin to understand that whatever you put in your body is ultimately going to affect you, not only physically but mentally and spiritually, because it's all connected. So as long as you're mindful of what you eat, and you're mindful of your character and who you are, and what the types of things that you do on a day-to-day basis, as long as you're doing things that are good and in service to others, and also by serving yourself in a way where you're keeping yourself healthy, you're keeping yourself in a state of mindfulness, when you do that, you become healthy in order to help others. So that's the best way to serve others, is by being an example, by being a person who is well-rounded spiritually, mentally, and physically, and others will see that, and others will, want to mimic that. I always tell people, lead by example. You can't always change somebody's mind just by telling them, hey, this is what's going on. You have to be the example. You have to show them through your actions, because actions speak louder than words, my friend. So if you could all be an example, that's the best way to do it.
One more question for you. That was amazing what you said there. Action, and because you cannot change anybody. You can only change yourself, and that's it, right? So one thing I've been wondering all my life, that is that the nature that we live in. I don't know. maybe it's hacked to some degree, because everything needs to destroy something to get to survive. Everything has to consume something to be alive. Are we living in a hacked reality? And also, if you look at everything is a fractal and sacred geometry, from the smallest atom to the biggest particle in the universe. They're all mathematical. Are we living in some kind of a synthetic reality? And if so, what is beyond this sacred geometry, realm, and all this stuff?
Well, we're definitely living in some sort of, I guess you would say, simulation. And it's a simulation that was actually developed by Prime Creator Source so that it could experience and explore more of itself. But the simulation is also the part of what we call existence that is associated with the finite, which is, the material realms. They have a beginning and an end. Sacred geometry is involved. What is it called? It's like a. The word I'm looking for is pixelated. There we go, pixelated. That's called the Planck length in our reality, right? Everything's pixelated. So yes, in that sense, we are part of a finite system. But what surrounds and what exists beyond the finite system is the realms of eternity. And the realms of eternity is equivalent to what scientists call base matter and base reality. They have never began and they have no ending. And so what we're experiencing out here in the simulations, because the simulation exists all the way to the 12th dimension. Beyond the 12th dimension is pure base reality, is eternity. What we're experiencing is pretty much how can I say it? It's all temporary. It's all temporary, designed for the overall growth of the grand macro spirit that embodies the cosmos. And so we are all its sensors. Every human out there in the multiverse is like a sensor to the greater universe. To the greater spirit that animates the cosmos. So it's all part of the experience for growth, So there's nothing wrong with living in a simulation. Now, I do have a problem with a cybernetic simulation. That is something that the founder of Facebook is trying to lead everyone into. Now, the difference between
Meta.
The difference between an organic simulation is that eventually the organic simulation collapses back to source, right? It's just an extension of source. And the other simulation created by artificial intelligence, like the Phantom Matrix multiverse, is a simulation that has no connection to source. And that's where people become trapped, and they can become trapped forever. So that is the difference between those two simulations.
So we're talking about the AI simulation, the
Exactly.
trap. There's the Sufis, right? It's one of my favorite modalities. I study it really, really deeply. And they talk about nothingness. They talk about that the souls always existed, and they were called, I guess, by the Prime Creator to come forward. So is this Prime Creator, you could say, is nothingness? And then was our soul created, or have we always existed? And if so, on what form?
Well, every soul is a fragment of Prime Creator. So by virtue of that, we are fractals of Prime Creator. There is no distinction, there is no separation between us and Prime Creator. So in that sense, yes, we've always existed. We've never had a beginning or end.
Okay, beautiful. Do you want to talk about anything else? Because we can continue going as much as you want. It's up to you.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be going on a book tour in the next month, mid-November. I'm going to be traveling across the state, so I will be, doing announcements as to where I'm going in case people want to come for a book signing. I'm going to be doing book signings, I think, in Barnes & Noble, and I believe that, I'm going to be traveling the States in the next month. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm going to be, out and about. So if you guys want to come meet me and get your book signed, I'll be letting everyone know where I'm going to be heading each day as I travel. But what else? I started a new TV series with Unified TV. It's called Our Cosmic Origin, where I go in depth about everything that I talk about in my book and much more. From what I understand, according to Jason Shurka, it is like it's the he says he has never had as many people watch it upon its release, like never before. He's saying that it's very he's getting a lot of good feedback. People are loving it, and so for those that want to check it out, just go to Unified TV/Ishmael, and you guys could sign up for a 7-day free trial and check out my episode. So I'm going to be coming up with a new episode every week. I'm excited about that. A lot of cosmic information in great detail, mind-blowing information, and I'm also teaching my Starseed Cosmology course. I am booked till December, but I believe that I have spots in January. But book quick, otherwise you guys are going to have to wait till February because they fill up pretty quick. And other than that, if you haven't ordered my book, Our Cosmic Origin, it is available on Amazon, and it is taking the world by storm. It is still the bestseller on Amazon, which is a blessing. People are really resonating with that information.
Ishmael, are you going to turn it into an audiobook? Because I think some people, they're not good at reading books and stuff like that. I think if you make it to audiobook, you will sell even more, and then you don't have to pay the shippings and things like that, right?
Well, yeah, that's the goal. The goal is to actually translate into different languages. So I might strike a deal with like one of the biggest publishing houses, as long as they give me access to selling it on my own on Amazon and not try to own the rights, because I've already paid for the copyright and everything. I think they're going to, translate in different languages, get it in audio, and then all that stuff. So that's in the making in the near future.
Perfect. Ishmael, do we have to worry about money still? Because just everybody's working very hard, just to make sure they have enough, right? Do we have to worry about money soon?
I think that as long as you follow your heart and your intuition, the universe will have your back. The universe will open up opportunities for you to, be financially free. As long as you're following your path and you're in alignment with your mission, the universe has your back. The universe will orchestrate something, put the right people in your life in order for you to become financially stable. For those that are still like in the 3D matrix 9-to-5 job, just follow your heart. The universe will open up the way for you.
One more thing about this XRP keeps, again, we talked about last time, but all the crypto has crashed basically. Everything everybody's so down on their portfolio because a lot of people, they put their money in this, right? Mm-hmm. So what is this XRP? Is it going to be the new thing? Is it going to, the price is going to increase? What is this stuff? I don't get this cryptocurrency stuff.
Well, the reason XRP is still remaining is because it's the only currency that is connected to the quantum financial system, which is going to be the new system, the new, economic system that is going to be rolled out eventually. And that's going to be a system that's going to decentralize everything and bring the money and the power back to the people.
Okay, brother. So we're going to, I guess, is there anything else you want to say to the audience?
Just thank you for your support. It's been a wonderful ride the last 4 months. I didn't expect for such a positive turnout, but if it wasn't for the people that resonate with my work, I would have never made it this far. So I just want to give everybody thank you, and that I acknowledge and appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for your support.
One thing I want to ask, how's your wife doing? Is she doing better? Because last time when we had an interview, your wife was was getting, I think, heart attack, and then my parent ended up in the hospital for 7 days. So how's your wife doing?
Yeah, she actually had a seizure. I thought it was a heart attack, but it was a seizure. And so she's been taking a lot of medication, seizure medication. Yeah. She still gets the shakes and trembles on a daily basis, but she's trying to survive. She knows she doesn't have much left, so she's just hanging in there as much as possible. Ishmael,
are we going to get these med beds to heal it ourselves? How long is that going to take? Because I think she can use something like that easily, right? When is this stuff coming out?
As soon as we bring down the cabal and expose them, that's when they're going to roll out the new tech.
Ishmael, thank you very much for coming on the show again. And I really appreciate your time, and I know you're busy. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much for all of your information.
You're welcome. I appreciate you as well, my brother, and it is a pleasure to be here at this time its service to the one creator.
Thank you very much.